Feeding and digestion. Where do animals shop for food? Detritivores feed on detritus, often obtaining extra nutrients from the bacteria, algae, or other microorganisms that grow on or around it. Carnivores eat other animals. Herbivores eat plants and parts of plants in terrestrial and aquatic habitats. Most filter feeders catch algae and small animals by using modified gills or other structures as nets that filter food items out of water. Many animals rely on symbiosis for their nutritional needs. Most filter feeders catch algae and small animals by using modified gills or other structures as nets that filter food items out of water. Many invertebrate filter feeders are small or colonial organisms like worms or barnacles that spend their adult lives in a single spot. Many vertebrate filter feeders, such as whale sharks and blue whales, on the other hand, are huge and feed while swimming. Detritivores feed on detritus, often obtaining extra nutrients from the bacteria, algae, and other microorganisms that grow on or around it. Detritus is made up of decaying bits of plant and animal material. Detritivores are essential components of most ecosystems. Carnivores eat other animals. Mammalian carnivores, such as wolves or orcas, use teeth, claws, and speed or stealthy hunting techniques to bring down prey. Some carnivorous invertebrates, such as cnidarians, paralyze prey with poison-tipped darts, while some spiders immobilize their victims with venomous fangs. Herbivores eat plants in terrestrial and aquatic habitats. Some herbivores, such as locusts and cattle, eat leaves which don't have much nutritional content, often are difficult to digest, and can contain poisons or hard particles that wear down teeth. Other herbivores, including birds and many mammals, specialize in eating seeds or fruits, which are often filled with energy rich compounds. Many animals rely on symbiosis for their nutritional needs. Symbiosis is the dependency of one species on another. Symbionts are the organisms involved in a symbiosis a relationship. Parasites live within or on host organisms, where they feed on tissue or on blood or other body fluids. Some parasites cause serious disease in humans, livestock, and crop plants. Parasitic flatworms and roundworms afflict millions of people, particularly in the tropics. This is a worm that was in the intestines of a child in 2007. Yes, just one worm. In mutualistic relationships, both participants benefit. Reef building corals depend on symbiotic algae that live within their tissues for most of their energy. The algae, in turn, gain nutrition from the coral's wastes and protection from algae eaters. Animals that eat wood or plant leaves rely on microbial symbionts in their guts to digest cellulose. How does an animal digest food? Some invertebrates, as shown here, break down food primarily by intracellular digestion. They will capture the food in food vacuoles. Here, one is encompassing a particle, possibly a pollen cell. But many animals use extracellular digestion to break down food. The simple animals, such as sponges, digest food inside specialized cells that pass nutrients to other cells by diffusion. This digestive process is known as intercellular digestion. The sponge will receive water and food particles in and then disperse waste out. As shown here, it will catch, absorb, put it in a food vacuole, digest, and be ready for the next time. Some animals have interior body space whose tissues carry out digestive and circulatory functions. Some invertebrates, such as cnidarians, have a gastrovascular cavity with a single opening through which they both ingest food and expel waste. Cnidarians have the same orifice for the mouth and the anus, where they ingest food, digest in the gastrovascular cavity, and then they expel it from the same orifice. Some cells lining the gastrovascular cavity secrete enzymes and absorb digested food. Other cells surround food particles and digest them in vacuoles. Nutrients are then transported to cells throughout the body. Most more complex animals rely on extracellular digestion. Extracellular digestion is the process in which food is broken down outside cells in a digestive system and is then absorbed. Many invertebrates and all vertebrates, such as birds, digest food in a tube called a digestive tract, which has two openings. Food moves in one direction, entering the body through the mouth. Waste leaves through the anus. Into the mouth, through the esophagus, in the crop, stomach, gizzard, and then out through the intestines, and then through the intestines and out the anus. One-way digestive tracts often have specialized structures, such as a stomach and intestine, that perform different tasks as food passes through them. In some animals, the mouth secretes digestive enzymes that start the chemical digestion of food. Mechanical digestion may occur in specialized mouth parts or muscular organ called a gizzard, which breaks down food into small pieces. Chemical digestion begins or continues in a stomach that secretes digestive enzymes. Chemical breakdown continues in the intestines, sometimes aided by secretions from other organs, such as liver or pancreas. Intestines also absorb the nutrients released by digestion. No matter how efficiently an animal breaks down food and extracts nutrients, some indigestible material will always be left. These solid wastes, or feces, are expelled through the single digestive opening, anus. So, who has the best mouth for eating? Carnivores typically have sharp mouth parts or other structures that can capture food, hold it, slice and dice it into small pieces. Typically, they have short digestive tracts that produce fast acting, meat digesting enzymes. These enzymes can digest most cell types found in animal tissues. Herbivores typically have mouth parts adapted to rasping or grinding. Their digestive tracts are long with multiple stages, multiple stomachs, between which they can chew the food again. Carnivores and leaf-eating herbivores usually have very different mouth parts, but there are some similarities. For carnivores, the molars and premolars, the sharp edges of the teeth, slice and dice meat into small pieces. These teeth have ridges that interlocked during chewing, like the blades of scissors. The canine teeth in the front are pointed teeth. Carnivores use them for piercing, gripping, and tearing. In herbivores, canines are reduced or absent. Incisors in the front, chisel-like incisors, are used for cutting, gnawing, and grooming, like fingernail clippers. For herbivores, do not have the same piercing, gripping. They do have incisors and molars. They do have incisors for cutting, gnawing, and grooming. And they have molars and premolars. The broad, flattened molars and premolars are for grinding tough plants like two pieces of sandpaper wearing down wood. No animal produces digestive enzymes that can break down the cellulose in plant tissue. However, some herbivores have very long intestines or specialized pouches in their digestive tracts that harbor microbial symbionts that digest cellulose. Cattle, for example, have a pouch like extension of their stomach called a rumen, plural rumina, in which symbiotic bacteria digest cellulose. Animals with rumina or ruminants regurgitate food that has been partially digested in the rumen, chew it again, and then re swallow it. This process is called chewing the cud.